Hit it.
2, 3, 4.
Nice. It's Christmas, guys.
Only to bring you peace. Only at Christmas time. Only the King of Kings. Only what once was mine. It takes the end of time. It takes a long, long time. Only one thought of mine. Only at Christmas time.
Shout
He
it.
brings us peace. He brings us joy. He brings all thoughts to destroy. Only at
Sufjan Stevens, people.
to bring us peace, to bring us joy, to bring all thoughts to destroy. Only at Christmas time.
Kevin Howe. I have no idea what's going on. It's Christmas music. We're opening with Christmas music.
Only at Christmas time. Only a tree to cry. Only at Christmas time. If you can read those signs. Only at Christmas time. Every mask will fall. Only at Christmas time.
Well, thank you, Sufjan Stevens, for the excellent Christmas Hark Songs for Christmas from 2002 or 2003 or so. Thought I would share that with you guys. This is the Hake Report. It is 9:03 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time here in Los Angeles. Gonna have a fun loosey-goosey leading up to Christmas week. Leading up. Going to talk about my appearance tonight on Modern Day Debate. Touch on it. Hake versus T-Jump. Is the Great Reset real? Help me out, guys. I don't know. And tomorrow, Joel Friday joins Hake as a co-host. And we're set to interview Crishaun the Don, who has appeared on The Fallen State, who did an interview about our coverage of Kanye West loving Hitler. Thought that Joel Friday and I were wrong. He says it's very important to know history. And various other news items, including the great Ben Carson getting removed, his name removed from a Detroit school. Is that his area? He grew up there to a single mother? A tough single mother. He took a hammer to her head, and she survived, I think. And he stayed out of jail, I guess. And he became a neurosurgeon. So instead of hammers, he took knives to heads. And not to be mistaken with Big Bump, his daddy. So guys, all that and your calls. If you would like to call in, give Hake some education about World War II stuff, Hitler, about the Great Reset, or about whatever. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show.
Have you been naughty or nice?
It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report. La la la. It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report. La la la. It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I was so excited to share with you guys 3 Christmas songs per day, 2 or 4 actually, if you count the opening Hake Report theme song, including AJ Gallardo's original Coming Friday, which first appeared 5 years ago. 5 years ago. I hope you like it. I know it takes a little bit of extra time. Maybe tomorrow with Joelle, I'll shorten things up. Joelle Friday, my co-host, every other Tuesday is the idea. And I'll have a guest, too. But it's so exciting. I'm back for debates. Guys, I am wearing my Gatekeeper t-shirt. It has an American flag in gray, and it says LE, which is law enforcement, I think. But it's also ReLEntless. Defenders. ReLEntless defenders. Gatekeeper. ReLEntless defenders of the truth. Has a key here. Somebody asked in the chat, hey, James, you're a gatekeeper? I hope only for the heavenly gate. No, we also keep people out of being based. The base gate. Actually, I fling wide open that gate and call everybody based, and don't I? It's so silly. So, just a little heads up before I get to calls, guys. Let me give this little announcement. I am going back on Modern Day Debate. Tonight, 5 p.m. Pacific time. Is the Great Reset real? Is it real? Hake versus T-Jump on Modern Day Debate. I put up my little announcement. You can go to thehakereport.com/appearances. 5 Pacific Standard Time, 8 Eastern. This will be my second debate on Modern Day Debate about this very topic. I already debated somebody on it. Hunter Avallone's wife. I'll tell you about her in a second. No, it wasn't Hunter Avallone's wife. I debated her about something else. Stardust. I'll tell you about her, or my debate with her. But you may recall T-Jump, Tom Jump, atheist guy. He's been on the Hake Report. Asmodor called in and had a little back and forth with him. Asmodor was kind to him out of respect for Hake. Could have gone hard on him. But, yeah, T-Jump, atheist, former Christian, YouTuber guy. And you can tell that he used to be a Christian by his personality. Like he was raised Christian. You know, white, tall white guy. Quite civilized, but sometimes quite liberal. So, what is the modern day debate? Modern day debate. James Kuntz. He had Jesse Lee Peterson on, and he's had Hake on several times, and hosts interesting live YouTube videos. But what is the Great Reset? Somebody in the chat answered it for me, or gave an answer. Let's see here. Quoderby says, I mean, the WEF, World Economic Forum, it's this liberal globo homo type of outlet, type of organization, is writing themselves on their website, quote, to improve the state of the world, the World Economic Forum is starting the Great Reset Initiative. Yeah, all right, okay. So is it real? Yes, it's real, but what is it? There was another Great Reset chat that I saw over on JLP's chat. The real Chungus, I don't even know if I should be repeating that name, says the Great Reset to usher in the new world order. One world currency, one world government under Satan. Well, they do want, it's kind of like the equivalent of the Tower of Babel, huh? The Tower of Babel. We can make a tower higher than God. Something like that. The males of the Bible, maybe some females too, Maybe they were pro-feminist too back then. I don't know. They were building it, and God's like, if they're united like this, there's nothing they can't do. So, and they're all evil. They're trying to play God, so let's confuse them. Give them different languages. Huh. Interesting. Under Satan. Maybe so. Kevin Howe says, Hake, I don't know how you could argue against the Great Reset being real. It's admitted, published in magazine headlines. You already won. Thanks, man. And Lin Yen Shin says they want to reset the economy to 0 point, forgive all debt so that the inflation would be thrown off, only to build up again, as it is innate to scarcity of resources and focus of demand. Is that what it means too? I know that they want to tear stuff down and rebuild in their image. They being the liberals. I remember looking stuff up on the Great Reset on the World Economic Forum. There was a video for it in the World Economic Forum website amid the whole China virus scam-edemic. They're like, this is our chance. As of recently, it has been about the China virus, or at least back then. And then now they want to use the climate so-called crisis, climate hysteria, to keep shutdowns, climate shutdowns, China virus shutdowns, climate shutdowns. And when you shut stuff down, a lot of the smaller businesses die, or the people who can't absorb all that waste. Because when you force businesses to shut down, you're wasting them, killing them. They're exploiting any crisis they can for power, money, influence, grab. It's a whole lot of ego. I wrote about this last time I was on Modern Day Debate about this topic with Stardust. Stardust, nice young lady. April of 2022, earlier this year. Oh yeah, they pretend to care about vulnerable populations. That's part of it, isn't it? They pretend we can take care of vulnerable populations better and more efficiently if we have this great reset and destroy what's the white power right now, the white Christian power. I don't know. It seems like it. But they love for people to stay vulnerable. These are some of the points that I was making versus Stardust. They don't want people independent and self-sufficient. They want like centralized stuff, don't they? I'm shaking my head. So they can swoop in and save them. That's what they did to the blacks. They did a great reset on the blacks, right? We're resetting you. No more families. It's called a reset, right? Be victims. Falsely guilting people into being dumb do-gooders. It's very womanly. I noticed that there's a whole bunch of, it's like a cult. The people, everybody's a cult, right? The liberals are like a cult. They all say the same thing. Racism, sexism, homophobia, women's rights to kill the babies, stop the anti-Semitism, stop the Asian hate, build back better. Weren't there multiple organizations saying build back better? That's not even an inspiring statement. Star Sion, more like Star Beep. Whoa, Max Rex, why the malice? Not that it was necessarily malice. It was strong words. Anyway, talking about my former debate opponent. Build back better. That doesn't seem like something that's. We didn't even have to build back better. We didn't have to shut stuff down in the first place for the China virus. That was all an overreaction, in my opinion. They rope in all these commie capitalist organizations, corporations. I call them commie capitalists. The World Economic Forum and all of these trendy, push the trend, jump on trends, and subvert the trends organizations. Amazon, Google, they have those people on board with them. World Economic Forum. Major banks, financial corporations, pharmaceutical companies, Facebook, Meta, PayPal, Pepsi, BLM supporting America subverting George Soros's Open Society Foundation. There's nobody good who's supporting this Great Reset thing on their website. So I think that not only is it real, it's evil. Because look at the people involved. Salesforce, anti-white. Coca-Cola, anti-Christian, anti-white. Once American. Uber, Unilever. Everything that's evil that pretends to be benign. And people say, oh, the Republicans are for these corporations. Not the real ones. Or not the ones who are America-loving. You know what I mean? These are the ones who push the women's equality mess, the gay agenda, transgender mess, anti-racism, telling the rich to subsidize the so-called poor. They have like this false religion, like JLP says, the false religion of emotions. And it's so phony. Anything with human rights in their name, they're pushing for this stuff. Amnesty International, Human Rights Campaign, or whatever. I don't know. Globalist homogeneity. It's not morally straight, that's for sure. Wolves in sheep's clothing. So that's the Great Reset, I guess. Centralized power is a bad idea. It really is. That's one thing that I picked up from the great Bill Lockwood, Pastor Bill Lockwood, not doctor. He's an historian, he's a radio host, appears on Jesse Lee Peterson's show, that you want local power or local control. Because when locals are in charge of what's going on in your community, you can face those local authorities and they have to face you. They have more accountability to the normal people. Centralized power, you don't have any... The people in D.C. don't care about you. The people in Sacramento or whichever capital of whichever state you're living in don't care about you. And actually, the people who in your own house don't care about you. But at least they have to face you, right? Or the people in your town. That's why you can't be weak, I guess. If you're a pushover, then it doesn't even matter if you're local controlled, right? I remember seeing different reports from Asmodor about his local pushes. And JLP, too, says run for local government. You have all these people with these high, great expectations, with these great ambitions to run against Nancy Pelosi or Maxine Waters or Governor Newsom or president or all that stuff. But they're not even local leaders, step by step. And that's where stuff happens. You will own nothing and you will be happy. Oh, yeah, they say stuff, and they make an interesting point that it is about coordination and efficiency when they have the local control. I mean, the globalist control. But they want everybody to be forced into their false set of ethics, you know? I get the efficiency thing. I get the compiling the data. But the people are so corrupt and inept that you're not going to get honest results from all your studies, no matter what amount of information you have or what efficiency you have. Efficiently evil. You know what I mean? You will own nothing and you will be happy. It's not how life and human nature works. You do better when you own stuff. I heard from this Jewish guy who is a radio host, and then I'll get to calls, guys. Kind of going on off about this. Michael Medved used to tell a story. He's this guy, Jewish radio host, sort of conservative, you know? I used to like hearing him. My older brother would play him when we would be in the car. And he's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. He said that the pilgrims or the early American settlers, before America was even founded, they had socialism. Socialism, according to him. Meaning they just shared everything. Nobody owned the land. And they starved. They were starving. Because when you don't own it, you don't care about it, somebody else is going to take care of it. And so they weren't prepared. And then when they, after they starved a season or two or a few, this is how I remember his story. I may be misremembering, maybe mistelling it. They decided, you know what, we need to actually own our stuff. And when they actually started owning their stuff, then they had surplus. They were ready. Because when you own stuff, you take care of it. Think about this, you not taking care of the places that you rent. Unless you're like a civilized, self-led, white, or white on the inside at least, man who takes care of your stuff. People, many times when we own stuff, we don't even take care of it either. But you're more likely to take care of it when you own it. Same thing with businesses and all that stuff. You will own nothing, you will be happy because they're going to take care of you. So, sounds like the talented 10th nonsense. You know, the globalist. Yeah, they are globalists too. The communist blacks, like that guy who hated Booker T. Washington, and he hated America. He renounced his American citizenship. This guy, W.E.B. Du Bois. I think he was part of the people who wanted the talented 10th. He may have come up with it. The 10% of blacks who are talented should lead the way and tell the rest of the blacks what to do. I heard that Putin may be part of it too. This guy, Alex Newman, who has been on the JLP show of The New American, he's talked about Putin and the deep state and the New World Order in the Ukraine war. He said, Vladimir Putin is not necessarily this hero against the deep state and the globo homo stuff. He's part of it. He's just the other side of the coin, I guess. That's what he says about Putin. I don't know if it's true. Putin was a long-time communist, Kevin Howe may appreciate this, communist intelligence and security operative, closely connected to key agents of agendas of the deep state, including his friend and close advisor, Henry Kissinger's strategy. He was a close advisor? Kissinger was a close advisor to Putin? For building global governance by creating regional governments, as outlined in Kissinger's book, World Order. Wow. Even Putin's alleged Christianity is suspect, says Alex Newman. Whatever, Alex Newman, your Christianity is suspect. Don't you smoke pot? Nah, but he may be right about this. It's interesting. Alex says the takeover of the Russian Orthodox Church by, quote-unquote, former KGB agents and Putin's persecution of non-Russian Orthodox Church Christians in Russia and the strongman's bizarre comments, Putin's bizarre comments comparing Christianity and communism. Yeah, he said Vladimir Lenin was kind of inspiring like a saint, I think. And I don't know much about Lenin, but I heard that he was a communist, not a Christian. Ukrainian government's also connected to these dangerous groups and agendas, too. So it's evil versus evil over there. That was a March 2022 video, and the Ukraine globo-homo war is still going on. Subsidized by America. I wonder if Kevin Howe appreciates America subsidizing the Ukrainians getting themselves killed at the hands of Russians and killing Russians. And seems like had we defunded the war would end. That's what it seems like to me. Anyway, I will get to your calls, guys. Some of you were on hold. Some of you dropped off there. 888-775-3773. A little preview for tomorrow. Exciting times tomorrow. You don't have to hear Hake ramble so much because I have a couple of POCs. Are they POCs? Joel Friday, 70% POC, 30% white, joins Hake tomorrow. And the plan is to have Crishaun the Dawn of Misfit Nation YouTube channel. Join us via like Skype or Zoom or something. I don't know. But he wants to confront Joel and me. It's Joel and me. Confront me and Joel, but put Joel first before me. You don't put yourself first. That's why you say it like that. On our coverage of Kanye West, they call him Ye. Pfft. Sorry. Sorry if that sound was annoying. His Hitler comments. You know how he went on Alex Jones's show and said he loves Hitler, and he tweeted or Instagrammed earlier, maybe both, talking about I'm going death con. He wrote Death Con, DEATH, but it's Def Con, Defense Con. Death Con 3 on Jewish people tomorrow after I get some sleep because I'm tired. Kanye West, always spouting off in some thing. And stuff that he says may or may not be true. Did Beyonce deserve that award rather than the white girl, the Aryan princess who got it, Taylor Swift? When he's all, I'm going to let you finish. He interrupted like 10 years ago or 15 years ago, who knows when. He interrupted this little white girl. Nasty woman now, nasty. She used to be cool because she didn't talk about politics. Now she spouts off about Tennessee values. Ridiculous woman. Former country singer Taylor Swift. But Kanye's always spouting off. George Bush doesn't like doesn't care about black people, he said, after Hurricane Katrina. And the blacks were dying because they stuck around. They didn't evacuate or whatever. They didn't take care of themselves. And so George Bush doesn't care about them because it took a little while for the feds to go with FEMA and go save the blacks from the flooding after the levees broke down in New Orleans. Hurricane Katrina, like 2005-ish, rough, give or take. The hurricane didn't kill him, but the water had swelled, and then the levees, which were poorly maintained by the blacks down there, I guess. I don't know. Or the Democrats. Wasn't the mayor's name like Nutter or something like that? Nutter? Piece of work. Not sure if it was him, but they always have some black or at least Democrat mayor. And Kanye's all, George Bush doesn't care about black people. He said it on some TV money-raising thing, feel-good money-raising thing. And he's putting out his thing. But I didn't like Kanye for doing that. But then now I don't like George Bush anymore, and so I like Kanye. And I think Kanye is correct because George W. Bush doesn't care about blacks because he didn't support Donald J. Trump. I'm sorry. So Kanye's kind of hit or miss, or maybe he's more hit than I realized. But he's all, I love Hitler and the Nazis, he says. And to me, this is not a shocking thing to hear, except that it's like a really mainstream guy saying it. But it wasn't a shocking, it was like I kind of shrugged my shoulders at hearing it, because I've been hearing some of my callers, some perhaps sensible, some perhaps nutty, and different guests and things say this. And people on the internet have been saying this stuff. Have been saying, there's this guy named John Friend who was a local, working for the government. Like at a little city office. And he has this magazine outlet on the internet called The Realist Report. John Friend, The Realist Report. And he once came on the show, one of the shows, and said, I think Hitler is a good Christian man. I'm like, huh? And even then, it wasn't really shocking to hear, because people believe all sorts of things. And people know all sorts of different things, and they don't know all sorts of different things. And I've talked about how, like, Kanye's new friend, Nicholas J. Fuentes, a Zoomer, and many of his Zoomer pals, they don't fall for this all melodramatic, false guilt and, like I said, melodrama about victimhood and stuff like that. Because, you know, like a lot of the Jewish people use the Holocaust to think that's like the most important thing about being a Jew for many of them, is to remember the Holocaust. Not remember God, remember the Holocaust. Never forget. I think that's a mistake to be all never forget. Oh yeah, it's a lie too. You know this 9/11 thing, never forget. Of course we're forgetting. People already forgot. People make fun of it. It's normal. It's not what's important to remember. It's an emotional thing to try to remember victims. When in reality, they are forgotten. People are forgotten. And you remember the wrong things about people anyway. And never again. Yeah, Hassan. Hassan is like, they say never again. Yeah, right. It's happening all the time. And you guys are supporting it. A lot of the liberals are supporting the mass murder of babies and stuff like that. And so to me, it wasn't shocking to hear Kanye say that. I don't know what's true and what's not true, nor do I care. But anyway, Crishaun the Dawn thought that it's bad. And I haven't watched his whole video. He did an hour-and-a-half video on Joel Friday and I, on me, talking about the Kanye stuff. And what's funny is like he misunderstood things. He thought that we planned to talk about it. We just spur of the moment talked about it. We had planned to talk about other stuff. But a caller called in and talked about it, and I'm all... And then Joel asked me, what do you think about that? I'm like, I don't know. I don't see it as that shocking. Joel thought that he took it kind of overboard. And I'm all, but I don't know if he was hamming it up or not. Because people really believe that he was pushing for Christianity. And some people say, oh no, he was an atheist, talking about Hitler. So, he'll be on tomorrow. And you guys can call in, I suppose. Is there anything else to say about that? Big Bump reminds me it was not Nutter, it was Ray Nagin. Nutter might have been like a Philadelphia mayor or something like that. Isn't Nutter the name of some mayor, some black mayor? Ray Nagin. Joel Friday look-alike. Shout out to Joel Friday. Sorry, Joel Friday. The mayor, New Orleans mayor during Hurricane Katrina was Ray Nagin. And Ray Nagin, that's a black, right? Or no? Light-skinned black? He looks like Joel, but out of shape. And a demon rat, a Democrat. He looks a little lighter skinned even than Joel Friday, to be honest. Born Clarence Ray Nagin, 66 years old now. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I've heard there was one thing that I mentioned in the coverage of that history, which I don't care that much. I don't care about history because I don't know what to believe. But I do remember that the Nazis were burning books related to sexual immorality and transgender stuff. And yes, they also burned some stuff that are considered classics today. But what is the content of those supposed classic books today? Are they really a great loss? Maybe so. Some of them were nice writing. There were a lot of Jewish written books, and a lot of Jewish people write very well, at least on a intellectual, physical level. Very high verbal IQ. And so, I guess maybe not all of those books needed to be burned, but some of them, those are no big loss. Book burning. Oh, book burning. And they're book burning today. Amazon will ban different things from their store. They banned this beautiful, you can't even find this beautiful rebel flag. Christian American beautiful Southern flag, rebel flag, Confederate flag. You can't sell or buy Confederate paraphernalia on Amazon. To this day, maybe. Because some dumb liberal black guy propped up by the Atlantic said, ban this flag, take it down. And this dumb liberal rhino female, governor of one of the Carolinas, Nikki Haley, India woman, I think she's part Indian. Trump hater, by the way, but Trump appointed her to the UN ambassador. She took down the beautiful flag, this flag, Confederate Southern flag, from the Capitol grounds over there. Oh, it's a loser flag. No. Oh, it's a traitor flag. You're the traitor if you think that. If you're going to be, not necessarily if you think that, you could be just a sucker, useful idiot. But that's traitor talk. What happened to the unity that Abraham Lincoln was supposedly for? He fought to keep the Union together, right? Ridiculous. And now they want to trash the beautiful people of the South. Give me a break. Anyway, let me get to some super chats. You can call in 888-775-3773. I'm going to get to Dr. Ben Carson. And I have more Christmas music to play with for you guys. No clip 11 for you. No clip 11. Over on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report, Gorgonzola with a super chat, couple of super chats on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. PolitiFact reports the Great Reset is not a conspiracy because it's not done in secret and it's not necessarily illegal. That's what conspiracy means, right? To force changes in economic systems. The World Economic Forum has never advocated for the creation of a totalitarian world government or the replacement of capitalism with another economic system. According to the conspiracy theories about the plan, the initiative advocated that nations eliminate all debt, that's what Lin Yan-chin was saying, and install an expansive social credit system, abolish private ownership, which they effectively were doing, the dumb sucker, useful idiot, female-minded liberals. Sorry, kids, if that's too rough. And adults, parents, guardians. When they shut down in the name of the China virus. Oh, the China virus killed the economy. No, you did. Suckers. You know what I mean? Abolish private ownership. All claims have been debunked by fact checkers. Just some counterpoints? Question mark. Thank you, Gorgonzola. Nice. But they don't have to say explicitly that they want to replace capitalism because they're already replacing capitalism. We already have commie capitalism, and that's what they're pushing. Commie capitalism. False values, anti-God stuff. And what else did they say that it is? Social credit system. They want to push this technology stuff like crazy. Centralized control. Anyway, Animus with another super chat says, what's wrong with loving Hitler? This guy is dead for a long time. And the only time people bring him up these days is to emotionalize and control the people. I love Hitler and I love Kanye for saying it, says Animus. Yeah, I mean, he's supposed to love everybody, and he points out good things that he says that he was about. And I'm sure that we're not getting the whole truth about history. These same people that push this history stuff are the same ones who push the present day so-called news. Our present day so-called news is very slanted. Maybe worse than it ever has been, but maybe not so much worse than it ever has been. maybe more naked. Maybe it's more obvious to some of us that it's untrue stuff. January 6th was an insurrection. No, it wasn't. Racism against black people. No, there's not. Equal pay for women. We don't even need them paid. That's just cheapening money, having them getting paid. That's just ill-gotten gain. Them working in the world and trying to, most of them anyway, many of them. And they're sacrificing families and sacrificing their Christianity and their obedience to the men, sacrificing their sanity. They're getting all worked up about politics and stressing out at the jobs and stressing everybody else out at the jobs. It's not been good. Oh yeah, there's been, like I said, ill-gotten gain by that. We're richer today than ever because of women working. I don't know if it's because of women working. But even if it is, it doesn't make it right. You know what I mean? So thank you. I don't know how I got off on Animus's thing over that. But I will get to more of the archive super chats. But let me cover Dr. Ben Carson versus the blacks, the Democrat blacks, black-hearted people, individuals. This was a tip from Big Bump. And the live chat was saying, oh, somebody in the live chat when Big Bump guest hosted for Hake some Tuesdays back. Was it a Tuesday or? Oh, no, I think it was a Friday. It was a holiday. Something like that, a Thursday or a Friday. Because Big Bump is pretty soft-spoken. Doesn't shout and scream so much, except at the raps. But even then, he just raps with authority. But he speaks kind of softly, and so they were like, is this Ben Carson's son? Anyway, Ben Carson, Dr. Ben Carson, says that wokeness is more important than education's purpose in the education system. He says wokeness trumps education's purchase. Veterans Day 2022. Thank you, Big Bump. That's when he guest hosted. Check it out. After a school removed his name in Detroit, Detroit School Board voted to remove Dr. Ben Carson's, and this was like last week, his name from a high school in Detroit. And he said that's wokeness spreading throughout our community. Wokeness means people who hate what's right and want to be awake to the dumb. It's not exactly conspiracy theories. Sometimes it's conspiracy theories, fake ideas about racism and stuff. Basically, that's what it is. Fake ideas about racism. Smearing the whites and the men and the Christians and America, the best parts of America. Society is reaching the point where political ideology trumps the whole purpose of an educational institution. Yeah, that's right. His mama, his mother, single mother, made him study, from what I heard. But the Detroit School Board, and so he was a good example to the black kids, children of single mothers. Dr. Ben Carson is a good example. Detroit School Board voted to change the name of Ben Carson High School of Science and Medicine. Wow, it's a perfect name for a high school that's a high school of science and medicine, removing its connection to the retired neurosurgeon, brain surgeon. Doesn't take a brain surgeon to know that these people are a bunch of, I don't want to say it in front of the kids, but I have to say it. D-U-M-M-I-E-S, dummies. Sorry, kids. And he was the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. I remember all the so-called woke people, the dumb SJW people. I know I abuse that word dumb. I lack couth and vocabulary. HUD, Housing and Urban Development, which probably shouldn't even exist in the government, but if anybody's going to run it, Dr. Ben Carson should. but they want the redistribution of ghettos. Obama was redistributing ghetto people into like so-called middle-class areas, safer areas, whiter areas, so that, those people, the ghetto people, didn't have to grow up around a bunch of crime or have to raise their children around a bunch of crime. Single mothers, stuff like that. Give them a chance. That's what's holding them back, the communities. Well, it is a vicious circle. People who live in the ghettos, not all of them are criminals, and so they have to suffer along with the criminals and the people who are raising criminals. But that's not the solution, redistributing the ghettos, because those people raise ghetto people. So what a mess. Let me share with you the quote. These are some rich quotes from this school board, Detroit school board or whatever. Let's see, what does it say? Okay. Crystal Wilson, a woman, I'm assuming, assistant superintendent of communications at Detroit Public Schools. Community members have been expressing concerns regarding how, under emergency, I burped. Sorry, kids. Ladies. Under emergency management, the school's name was changed to Ben Carson. Emergency management was imposed governance structure, and decisions as a policymaker did not reflect Detroiters, and therefore a school should not be named after him. Where's Dr. Ben Carson from? Where is he from? Was he raised in that area? Detroit, Michigan, 71 years old, born in Detroit. Boom, Detroiters. But you're right, he no longer reflects Detroiters. He reflects himself as a former Detroit man. And Detroiters are a bunch of degenerates, so they need to rename it to somebody, some scumbag name like Obama School or some other fake black intellectual. So I'm for that. They said, quote, this person named Cleve R. Wootson Jr., school board member, November 14th, 2018. It's a flashback, right? It is synonymous with having Trump's name on our school in blackface, said a Detroit school board member. Lamar Lemons told the Washington Post when asked why he is leading the charge to remove Dr. Ben Carson's name. And so Dr. Benjamin Carson, High School of Science and Medicine, BCHS, Ben Carson High School. School of Opportunity. I'm looking at some of the marquees, the school marquee. And so I don't know what the circumstances, I guess, in 2018 or before. They renamed it under emergency stuff because blacks get themselves into emergencies. Poorly run places get themselves into emergencies. We have the city of Los Angeles has an emergency of homelessness out of control. And so we have our new black female mayor, Karen Bass, calling it an emergency, a state of emergency. Don't believe she'll do anything right by it, but we'll see. Maybe I'll eat my words and I'll be happy to be honest, because this homelessness around here, it's disgusting. Where's my spittoon? I'll get it in a second. Detroit is too busy removing the names off public schools to care that none of its kids can read or write. Yeah, Commander Kim, that's correct. Anyway, let me get to a call or two here, guys. I got to get to Josh in Utah. I think he was the one who called and hung up and called and hung up. Josh in Utah, how are you doing, man?
What's up, Hake?
Hey.
Hey, that wasn't... I only called once.
Oh, okay. Somebody else called about a similar topic. Anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, I wanted to congratulate you for getting back into them debates.
Nice. Thanks, man.
I think your appearances on Modern Day Debate are some of the best ones. I really like them.
Oh, really? You watch Modern Day Debates, other stuff?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm always there when you do a debate.
Right.
I'm a longtime listener to Jesse and you.
Cool, man.
But
I catch them
watch
sometimes.
a lot of their stuff.
Yeah, I catch it when I can, when it's something that interests me. They cover all kinds of different things. I really appreciate what that guy's doing. James Kuntz at Modern Day Debate.
And T-Jump's going to be a tough opponent.
Yeah.
He's a smart guy.
He is a smart, intellectual,
Hmm.
atheist guy. So I like that. If anything, he will help clarify my position, I guess, or clarify what's going on. He may know some things that I don't know, and I like that. As Lin Yan Chin says, debate is just empty, emotional, intellectual, maybe not emotional, but partly emotional, pride, woman, jibber jabber. And he has a point. And one thing I like about when I see JLP debate, all he does is put the truth out there as he sees it. And that's what I try to do.
Yeah, he doesn't really argue. He just
Right.
he just says the truth, even if it's sometimes a little off topic. You know?
Yeah. Right.
But I guess it is on topic because it's the bigger topic.
Yeah, it's the bigger picture.
The good and evil.
Yep.
Yep. But yeah, I don't know how these intellectuals can debate against the Great Reset. I think they're just being disingenuous.
Yeah.
Because
Go
it's
ahead.
Charles Schwab's book. That's
Right.
the name of his book.
Uh-huh. Charles Schwab is the
So-
guy. He's that guy with that weird, creepy accent. What is it? I don't know what type of accent it is, but he sounds like this evil villain.
I think he's
the
German.
He's poor Germans, and he's the head of the World Economic Forum.
Right. Yeah, and so some things I don't know if you've ever looked into Agenda 2030.
Is that the same thing as Agenda 21?
Agenda 21 is the reduction of the population by 70%, I think. Agenda 2030 is similar, but it's all climate change stuff and diversity and inclusion, and they want to have it by the year 2030, and it's from the United Nations, and it has a lot to do with the Great Reset.
Wow.
And another big thing is that they want to have one world currency, so they have to reduce the value of the high currencies and raise the value of the cheaper currencies, I guess, to kind of make them equal so they can do one world currency.
And that's in Charles Schwab's book? I feel like calling him Chuck Schwab.
I haven't read the book, so this is just something that the United Nations has talked about.
Oh, the United
I don't know
Nations
if
has talked about devaluing currency and having one world currency?
Yeah, that's what they'll say is a conspiracy theory.
Klaus Schwab. Charles
I'm
Schwab.
sorry. I said Charles.
I knew it didn't sound right.
Bad.
Klaus. Charles Schwab is
My
a
bad.
financial institution. Thank you, Big Bump.
Yeah, Klaus Schwab. I'm sorry.
No worries, man.
Whoops. I disavow. I might have just wrongfully doxed some guy named Charles.
Well, Charles Schwab is a financial institution, may be involved with Klaus Schwab at the World
Could be.
Economic Forum. Because of all bunch of these banks and financial institutions and all those companies that I named, Amazon, Google, Salesforce, all those are part of, they support it. I don't know if it's just PR stuff that they're supporting it for, but they don't tend to push good values anymore. I don't know if they ever have.
I don't know.
I know that the communists or liars will pretend to have good values, Christian values, or similar values to what the people that their target audience is in order to subversively push something that they're about or convince people to join them with what they're about by saying something that you may agree with.
Yeah,
and they're not going to be
longer and teach us less.
And they're not going to be explicit in what they're about. And some of these people are useful idiots of evil because evil is really the mastermind. Evil is more clever than even probably many of these human beings who have these master plans and things like that. Because evil has what people call unintended results, but quite predictable results in many cases. They say like, oh, who could have predicted that? When, our demographics have been completely subverted and our values have completely changed. Oh, it's just natural. This is 2022. Marriage is marriage equality and all these different fake things, fake values. They pretend like these things are just innocently changing. There's nothing innocent about it.
And all this stuff has been tried throughout history, and it's brought down civilization. So.
And people really are puppets. Seemingly all of us are puppets. Almost all of us, maybe all, are quite predictable in the reactions. get people fighting, get a lot of the suckers believing what they're about, get the people who don't believe what they're about angry, and then you can just point at them being, oh, look at their angry nutcases, conspiracy theorists, and very dishonest times we're living in.
Yep. But hey, I had one more thing that I thought about while I was on hold. You were talking about the HUD housing and how people don't take care of things that they don't work for.
Right.
I used to be homeless, and I got out of all that without using any government assistance. It's really simple. You just got to clean up your life. You got to get a job. You got to real basic stuff.
Right.
And you can get out of it.
Yeah.
Find God. But I was going to say now it's my job security because I do maintenance, apartment maintenance. And like we flip, if somebody gets evicted or leaves a unit, we prep it for the next person to move in.
Nice.
And a lot of them are like HUD owned and government owned. And so they rent out the units to homeless people, and it's job security because they're going to be out of there 3 to 6 months. They're going to turn it into a trap house 9 times out of 10, and they're going to destroy it when they get evicted. Yeah. So there's more work for me.
It is. That's so interesting. It's like you're cleaning up mess, destruction after destruction. Yeah. And so many of the jobs in the world
are...
How
do they keep this up?
Yeah.
It just keeps happening, and it's like, you don't see, but I don't know.
It's like the
government makes money off of it.
We have major, like, spoiled times where there's a surplus of money. There's, like, excess of money. So people are able to make money off of something that's a drain on society. It's so interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, these Democrat cities are getting paid off their homeless population, so they make a problem that they promise that they can fix, but then they just make it worse, and then they get more money off of it, so it's a cycle.
Shenanigans. Yeah. Crazy. What a backwards world.
What a mess. Yeah. But I'm going to let you go. Good show, Hake.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, Josh. Take care. Merry Christmas, guys. I will get back to calls. Guys, hang tight. But I have a second of 3 or 4 Christmas songs to share with you. This is from Lujo Records, All I Want for Christmas. This is the Out Circuit. Emmanuel. Hope you enjoy it. I know I do. It's only 2.5 minutes long. We're going to have to rush. Enjoy, guys, you musical Philistines. And I'll be back for hour 2. Hang tight.
Oh, come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel, that mourns in lonely exile, until the Son of God appear. Rejoice, rejoice, shall come to thee, O Israel. O come, thou dayspring, come and cheer our spirits by thine advent here, and drive away the shades of night, and pierce the clouds and bring us light. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel.
Well, thank you guys for bearing with me through that beautiful music. You musical Philistines. Nugget Farm says, press mute. Never listen to Hake's devilish music. That was the Out Circuit. The Out _ Circuit, which is a spin-off band from the great Frodus, Frodus, who had the great album in 1998 or so, and We Washed Our Weapons in the Sea. I've played their music. I love it. Repetitive, I like it, but I still like it, and I still like it. And that guy's singing is at times a little perhaps off-key, but I still overall like a lot of their stuff. The Out Circuit, so good. And Frodus, so good. But devilish, perhaps. Christian, though, it's Christian devilish music, which means perhaps liberal. Well, thank you, guys. Wasn't that nice? Quotes, Canadian David quotes Hake as saying, yeah. What time is your debate on modern day debate tonight, Hake? Is it tonight or another day? Tonight, 5 p.m. Pacific, which some say that's afternoon. And that's 8 o'clock Eastern time, 7 Central Standard Time, and actually 6 Mountain Standard Time. Yeah. So that's the plan. Hake on Modern Day Debate YouTube channel. And you can go to the hakereport.com/appearances. Quick super chat while I'm over here looking at the chat, guys. The noticing, the _ noticing, clever, with a super chat, states or asks, quote, did anybody notice the list of other social media sites that Elon Musk wanted to block promotion of, and the links did not include OnlyFans and other pornography websites? Wow. Nor Substack, I don't think. Yeah, I saw on Truth Social that he was going to block Truth Social and Facebook and Instagram. Maybe not YouTube. YouTube was okay, I guess. And no Bitly or Linktree. You know, those URL shortening sites that have like all your other links. But he changed his mind on that. I did see that. You know, before I get back to calls, hang tight, callers. Let me cover that. Let's see here. Twitter, head on down over to Twitter shenanigans and bring that up for you guys. Elon Musk shared a poll last night or yesterday, and I didn't see it until it was already over. Should I step down as head of Twitter? I will abide by the results of this poll, and 57.5% supposedly voted yes. Was it bots? Was it election rigging? Was this poll rigged? 17.5 million votes. And 42.5% voted no. So Elon Musk, will he be stepping down? He also tweeted something to the effect of, be careful what you wish for. And he also said that from here on out, after he temporarily only temporarily did he ban. He's still apparently a degenerate because he didn't ban the porn sites. But he went after the child pornography, I heard. Which, okay, it's a step in the right direction, but we need to go all the way. Elon, is he a Christian? He is South African. I don't hear him talking about the Boers. Is he a Boer? Is he Afrikaans? Does he speak Afrikaans? Shout out to the South Africans. But he said from here on out, we'll do a poll before we do a major change. Sorry for that. Something to that effect. And it sounded like he was referring to the, look at him. That looks like, look at that face. Great face. It's a little bit pixelated and blurry and artifacty. Nice. So yesterday, according to the far-left females at the Skim, the company Twitter said that it's not allowing users to promote other social platforms, everything from Facebook and Instagram to Mastodon and our greatest president, Donald J. Trump's Truth Social. Chief Twit, they call him, meaning CEO. These ladies love to name call men. Elon Musk says that under the new policy, which is no longer in effect, I guess, there will be no more relentless free advertising of competitors. Right on, Elon. I understood it. I didn't mind it. I went and changed my Facebook link, got rid of my Facebook link on Jesse's Racist Producer, my Racist Producer account. But I guess that was already obsolete. They got rid of that rule. Some users were posting their account links to other sites before leaving Twitter. Oh, yeah, interesting. Most companies targeted by the new policy have yet to comment. Backlash began, though. Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey. Is Jack Dorsey a good guy or bad guy? Or just a weak guy? Or neither? He said the new policy doesn't make sense. Elon Musk. I say Twitter instead of his name. He is synonymous now. Apologized, saying there will be a vote for major policy changes moving forward. So he appears to have scrapped the policy. Apparently plans to rule Twitter like a popularity contest, relying primarily on Twitter polls for major policy decisions here on out. Anyway, he also said, be careful what you wish for, you may get it. Which I don't totally understand, but it's kind of like, these ladies. A lot of times ladies will act like they want something, but they're not about that life. It's a fact. Women don't know what they want, and a lot of these people who hate Elon Musk owning Twitter and running Twitter are female-minded liberals, whether they're women or males. In fact, perhaps all of them. I don't know. Yeah, on the right, the men perhaps may have some valid criticisms of him. But give me a break. They want a monopoly on speech. The liberals, the anti-Christians, the anti-whites, the anti-men. Too manly. You're not allowed to say that. This is 2022. Mastodon. Isn't that a band? Asks Stephen Will. Yeah, apparently it's a dumb liberal reporter outlet. Ridiculous. Jack Dorsey, the doorman for evil, says Lord Baby 42. I think that the underlings were worse than him. It's my guess. That's my guess. Let's get to Tony in California on the line. Tony, Merry Christmas. How you doing?
Yeah, happy Monday Day. Happy Monday to you, sir. How you doing?
Everybody loves Mondays. I'm doing great.
Yes, okay.
Do you celebrate Christmas?
No, I do not, sir.
Wow. Are you related to maize?
No, I'm not. But I mean, it's called wake up from the foolishness of the corrupt white folks' belief system.
So you're going to the corrupt black folks' belief system, or whose belief system are you going to then?
I'm just going into the truth, sir. I deal with the truth. I don't believe in telling my children lies and then turn around and be a follower of the world.
Talk about denial. That's all you are, is a follower of the world.
No. I don't follow the worldly things or paganism.
Sure you do.
No, I do not, sir.
Okay.
But the reason I call is why you and Jesse, your boss, don't never report about the wrongful convictions here in America.
We do. We do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, we do.
People go to jail for 10 years, 7 years, 22 years. And then wrongfully convicted because of the justice system want a conviction. That is totally destroying people's lives.
No, that doesn't destroy people's lives.
Mostly in the black community and in the Mexican community.
Well, there's a lot of there.
Not all now, but some whites are in that wrongfully convicted as well.
Like Derek Chauvin.
Excuse me?
Like Derek Chauvin, wrongfully convicted, in my opinion.
Well, that's your opinion, and that's what once again.
He is wrongfully convicted,
opinion.
though.
That's your opinion. I mean, we sit there and watch him murder.
And so is it just your opinion? So is it just your opinion and your fellow worldly people who think that mostly blacks and Mexicans are wrongfully convicted?
Well, if you look at statistics,
is it your opinion and those of the world whom you follow?
No, it's statistics.
Statistics don't tell you the truth.
It shows that blacks and Mexicans are wrongfully convicted.
But statistics statistics don't tell you right from wrong. So how are statistics going to say they were wrongfully convicted?
Because they are soon let out of jail. You got this.
An overturning of a conviction doesn't mean they were wrongfully convicted.
Yes, it does.
No, it does not.
If you're in the wrong place.
Hold on, Tony. If they were wrongfully convicted, who's to say they're not wrongfully having their conviction overturned? The same corruption can go either way. Has that occurred to you?
No.
It has not occurred to you that
we talking with DNA evidence and new evidence.
But that's statistics don't talk about DNA evidence.
Excuse me?
You don't know. Can you name one person who was convicted and went to jail for 22 years, and the DNA evidence showed that he was innocent? Name that person.
Paul Crishaun.
Paul Crishaun?
Yeah, Paul Crishaun of Richmond, Virginia.
He was in 22 years?
No, he was in there for 38 years.
So then why didn't you say 38? You mentioned 22 years. Name the 22-year one.
I just gave you some examples, brother.
I know, but you didn't give me one example. You gave me Paul Crishaun, and I don't know if that's a real example.
Well,
look at the Central Park Five. Those guys are not innocent.
Yeah, and thanks to you.
They're not innocent.
That you love, Donald Trump went on New York Times saying that they was convicted before they went to trial.
No, he said people who do this deserve the death penalty.
Right, but these were innocent victims.
No, he said people who commit a violent rape. Hold on, Tony.
Them the life. He wanted them to get the death penalty.
Tony, people who commit a violent rape and leave a woman to die deserve the death penalty. That's what he said.
He was saying that he wanted them to get the death penalty.
No. From what I understand,
for his whole article he wrote.
From what I understand, he said people who do this deserve the death penalty. Do you agree or disagree that people
the Central Park Five guys was definitely guilty, and he wanted them to get the death penalty, and he never apologized for what he wrote.
Actually, I think he did take back, considering their age. He said,
No, he did not.
You don't know? Now you're just making...
I do know.
No, you don't know. And you don't know that they were innocent.
Well, they didn't rape that lady.
They were guilty of something.
Well, yeah. Well, jaywalking? Come on, man.
Oh, you think it was just jaywalking what they were up to? Beating a man with a... Hold on, Tony. Hold on, Tony. Beating a man with a pipe is what some of them actually had done, and they're just jaywalking. You seem to want to downplay black crime and upplay white violence or white wrongdoing.
Whites commit more crime in America than anyone has.
Why are you downplaying black violence and pretending that whites are so bad?
Because they are.
You're so worldly.
Look at all these crimes going on today.
You're so worldly.
Taking people money, innocent money.
Tony,
their life savings and their retirement plans, and they're just taking them and want to live a lavish life and just scamming people out of their money.
I've tuned you out.
Definitely a part of that organization as well.
I've tuned you out, Tony. We're not here. Well, I don't know if the chat is listening to you, but you're so worldly. You're just like the typical black victim-minded person. You're every bit the part of the world that you pretend you're not part of the world. Lame. Hello?
Can I speak now, sir?
No, not yet. Because you never answered my question.
What question was that? I did answer all your questions.
No.
Before you cut me off.
If a person can be wrongfully convicted, can a person get wrongfully overturned that conviction? Can they wrongfully overturn a conviction? If they can wrongfully convict, they can wrongfully overturn a conviction. Is that not the case?
If they have the evidence that you
No, hold on. Answer my question.
I'm asking you a question.
No. It's a yes or a no. And then you explain. If they can wrongfully convict, can they wrongfully overturn a conviction?
Yes, they can.
See?
Anything possible.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing.
But when you have all the evidence, when you have all the witnesses showing that you are innocent, and you did all these years in prison for nothing, you're away from your family, you done broke the family up, and then you and Jess are always talking about how the black community and the Mexican community are always broken up because of the white justice system. That's why.
That's not true, Tony. Do you know why they're wrongfully convicted more? Which I believe
because the justice system want a conviction. The white lawyers, the white judges, they want to put people away.
That's not the whole. That's not the whole story. You're not telling the whole story.
I am telling the whole story.
That's not the whole story. I don't take away from you that the justice system, which is not white, it's anti-white. I will have you know. I will not take away from you that the justice system wants a conviction. Many times they don't care about the truth. The justice system is not about justice. James, you are wasting your time and ours. And it's an anti-white justice system. It's not about justice anymore. It was once.
Most judges are white.
Hold on, man.
Lawyers are white.
No, they're not. No, buddy. No.
Most people in the jury box
Tony,
are all
I'm still
white
talking.
most of the time.
I wish that were the case. If it were, we would have more justice. Now, Tony.
Yeah, right.
Tony, a bigger part of the story, if you want more of the picture, the reason why blacks and Hispanics are getting more wrongful convictions is because many blacks and Hispanics are committing way more crimes.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. Per capita.
No.
Yes,
no.
Yes,
no,
brother.
No.
Yes, tell the truth, brother.
But the thing is, sir, when you got an all-white jury and a white judge,
answer my statement.
And you don't have nothing but a lawyer representing the
You already made that dumb point. It's a silly point.
There ain't no dumb point. It's the truth.
No, the truth
you call it dumb because you hate the truth.
You hate the truth that black and Hispanic communities have more violence in them.
Well, what you say? Say that again.
You hate the truth that black and Hispanic communities have more violence in them.
Okay, because of what? That's where they
because they're committing more crimes per capita.
No.
Yes.
But if you look at what the white collar crime, who do that?
You're changing the subject.
The white collar crime, as far as scamming people out all that money and retirement. White folks.
You're changing the subject.
No. Wait a minute. We're talking about crime.
No, we're not. We're talking about why black and Hispanics get more wrongful convictions is because they commit more crimes. And so who's setting them up, buddy?
So what you're saying is let's go ahead and stereotype them there.
It's not a stereotype. Stereotypes are based in reality many times.
No. If you don't have evidence,
you can't admit the truth, brother.
I mean, look, I'm talking to you about the truth.
No, you're not. You're trying to ignore the truth.
But the thing is, y'all need to stop being so greedy, man. See, that's where y'all came with that capitalism. And people just take advantage of other people's weaknesses by lying to them, scamming them. I mean, I can give you some evidence of you injustice running that same game.
Goodbye, Tony. That was nice while it lasted. Blacks commit over 50% of murders, says John F., and are only about 13% of the population. It's roughly that. I don't know if that's the case, but it's roughly that. Maybe 52%, maybe high 40s. 4 times as likely to kill a cop. Maybe more than that. You take the average, like a per capita, right? Chances are they're much more likely to steal that purse, to commit that murder. Tell the truth, brother. It's funny what he talked about with the capitalism. We call that commie capitalism, dishonest capitalism. We once had a high trust society here in America. I think. Didn't have to lock your door. Some communities, they still don't lock their doors. But those are more like high trust society area communities, meaning mostly white, mostly Christian, civilized, America-loving, not a bunch of foreigners, not a type of place where you don't even know your neighbors, or you smile in the neighbor's face and then all the time you want to take his place. Commie capitalism. Capitalism isn't about greed. It's a tool used by the greedy and the ungreedy, used by the honest and the dishonest. It's used by the communists as a stepping stone to communism, as far as I can understand. Capitalism. He reminds me of Jory Micah. Remember that Jory Micah gal? With the cute selfie? Up above her head. High above her head. I was listening to Nick's stream and he was covering Jory Micah's tweets. Interesting. Jory Micah, former Fallen State guest, also on the Jesse Lee Peterson show before. Ridiculous. But anyway, he wanted to start accusing JLP and Hake of running a scam. What a liar. Sleazy, dirty liar. Typical Tony. Let's get to, speaking of kangaroo court convictions, great topic. The feds finally got a kangaroo court conviction. Is this Hake speculating? This is just Hake speculating, to be honest. I don't know if it's kangaroo court or not. But that's my best guess, really. I suppose I should leave it as an I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But we've seen them have like a hung jury in this case. This is from Commie Nonsense Network Friday reporting. 3. That's how many men were sentenced on Thursday last week for plotting to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. You know those are nutty people. Nuts and feds, in my opinion. Because what good would that do? Those are not sensible, normal, white, America-loving Christian people. But I heard that feds were involved in this mess. And there's a lot of nutty people nowadays, which they love for people to be nutty. The 3 men, so-called men, who prosecutors said are members of a militia group known as the Wolverine Watchmen, will all serve years in prison for their gang participation. Gang. White gang. I think they were white. Supporting a terrorist act. Terrorism. What did they even do? I don't even think that they did anything. All they did was make a plan. And when you state your plan, then that's a threat, I guess. I don't know. Terrorism. Did they hurt anybody already? I don't know. The feds like to push this type of stuff, you know. Feds, by feds, I mean FBI type people or CIA. I think it's FBI, the ones who do this. Or the informants to the FBI or get involved in this stuff. Let's get a flashy story against the whites and the right-wingers. Bunch of liberals, the FBI. They should be investigating themselves. They're lying to the public. Lying to the FBI is a crime, but the FBI lies to the people? Somehow not a crime. A conspiracy to kidnap and kill! I didn't know it was about killing. I thought it was holding her ransom to, like, open up, no more China virus lockdowns or something, right? I don't even remember. Kill a sitting governor of the state of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, who looks a lot like Bruce Jenner, who calls himself Caitlyn. Goes by she. What a mess. And Fox News has him on. Ugh. Gross. Is a threat to democracy itself And we don't live in a democracy, and you don't want a democracy, but they're lying. They're sleazy people. And this kind of violent extremism has become disturbingly common, said Gretchen Whitmer. Cherry picking the rare case of supposed right-wing so-called violence and ignoring all of the Black Lives Matter terrorist attacks and insurrections around the country, Antifa and the Dirty Women's March. Yeah, they didn't break as much stuff, the Women's March. Sleazy people. They just kill babies inside of hospital rooms in a very orderly way. I'm told that the Germans were very orderly and efficient. And I guess that's what the, back in World War II. And so too, and legal, so too, safe, legal, and rare. The baby killers. Rare. Safe. Legal. What a mess. So they got their convictions. And I think I remember January 6th mess. Wasn't there a January 6th shenanigans? Speaking of persecution of the whites and the Christians and the America-loving people. Let me tell you about this one. J6, January 6th, anti-patriot smears, anti-Trump too. The January 6th anti-Trump fake investigation, I call it fake because it's propaganda. It's for the purposes of propaganda. It's not for getting at the truth. The far-left females at the Skim say their investigation is coming to a close. For real this time? Yes. For more than a year, the House Unselect Committee, falsely propagandizing the mostly peaceful Capitol protest, has been probing the insurrection, fake news, at the U.S. Capitol. Over the course of 10 hearings, lawmakers have presented their findings from more than 1,000 interviews. Whole lot of mess. I can dig and dig and dig and dig and dig into anything and find shenanigans in any place. And overall, that was a beautiful event, but I didn't like the few acting up. They've maintained that our greatest president, Donald J. Trump, carried out an effort to overturn the 2020 election. Yeah, because he felt that it was not on the up and up, which I, of course, disavow, because I like to keep my YouTube channel. And I don't know, but please, they wanted him out. They took every legal measure that may not have been moral to take. Certainly it's not moral to not want a man who loves the country and replace him with a sleaze bag like Sleazy Joe and his cackling Kamala Harris. Please, that's not moral. Today at 1 Eastern, that is happening now? Yeah, it's happening now. Because we are coming up at 1:30 already. The committee is holding its final hearing. final. Bringing it one step closer to sealing its investigation. Panel's reportedly expecting to vote on criminal referrals against our greatest president, Donald J. Trump. Please. Including obstruction of justice, insurrection, and conspiracy. Phony people. Expected to make referrals against the former president's allies, our greatest president's allies, to various authorities. The so-called Justice Department, the House Ethics Committee. Justice Department is very unjust. It was founded against white people. Did you know that? It was founded to go after the KKK in the South, which the KKK, from what I heard, was founded to go against the carpetbaggers and Union soldiers and feds occupying their land down there and meddling in their affairs. So it was political organizations fighting. And yeah, I'm sure there was violence on many sides. There was a war. So there was violence on the part maybe of the original KKK and violence on the part of the Union so-called soldiers occupying that, I'm sure. And dishonesty on both sides and shenanigans on both sides, right? Probably. Knowing human nature. But they want to just caricature the whites, the Christians, the South, the beautiful South, and Trump as the villain and them as the phony good guys. Give me a break. The Justice Department. What a joke. That's what the Justice Department was founded on. And to this day, they have like this unchristian person leading it. Please. House Ethics Committee. And there's nothing ethical about the House. On issues ranging from ethics, campaign finance violations, and blah, blah, blah. They have an 8-chapter report detailing all their findings. Whole lot of gobbledygook. One of my former teachers, a black teacher, I cracked, a black teacher, African-American history teacher over at Pasadena City College. Pasadena, where you at? Doctor or Professor Pete Mhunzi. Great teacher. He was into the black thing too, but engaging teacher. He said, and I quote, or I paraphrase, the more you write, the less you look like you know what you're talking about. The more you speak, Hake speaking a lot, Hassan speaking a lot, more you look like you don't know what you're talking about. And that's what these people do. Obamacare, thousands of pages. These people, 8. Thanks, Doug. 8 chapters. Please. It'll be up to the so-called Justice Department, injustice, if it decides whether they decide whether to take up the referrals, whether to charge Trump. Please. Oh, Trump is going to jail. No, I doubt it. Any criminal referral against our greatest president would be unprecedented. Add political pressure to the DOJ, which already has a special counsel looking into the 2024 potential presidential candidates' actions. Oh, yeah, they're already investigating him. He's like the best president we've ever had, and they're going after him. What's that tell you about them? They also wanted the committee, this corrupt committee. Not one person supports Trump at all on that committee. Just a couple of rhinos and angry Democrats. Unchristian people, by the way. They want to make changes to legislation to prevent a repeat of 2020. Huh, how so? House Democrats, demon rats, have to hand over the gavel to Republicans next year. They have the slim majority, right? End of year duties include wrapping up this investigation. So now they're going to investigate Sleepy Joe Biden's son, Hunter. Oh, gosh. I roll my eyes at the Hunter stuff. What a mess. There's this big unchristian liar lying about the president, our greatest president. This is a quote shared by Commie Nonsense on Friday in their morning email. The American people have gotten wise to him. Took a little while, but they did. That's it. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, a sleazy person. He's not an honest person. Look at his face. Is that a face of an honest man? I don't have a picture of of him for you guys to look at, but I guess you could look up a picture of Chuck Schumer. But this guy's, the point is not his face. His face, he just looks like a sleaze, but he is a sleaze. He's a grown adult man in his 70s or 60s, at least 60s, old 60s, or maybe even approaching his 80s. A male Democrat for so much time, working with nervous Nancy Pelosi against President Trump. Not a Christian, by the way. He's from New York. Chuck Schumer. Let me get my spittoon. 2. That's what I say to you, sleazy Chuck Schumer. The American people have gotten wise to him. Please. Oh, man. Schumer and House Speaker nervous Nancy Pelosi both predicted Trump will lose his third bid for the White House. What do you mean? And said Sleepy Joe Biden should run again. Oh, look at him. Look at that. I don't know. I suppose that face could go either way. Let God be true and every man a liar. That's not even a man, though. He dresses in a suit. That's cool. He's old, gray-haired. That means wisdom, or once did. You know he is old because he has long ears. Your ears and your nose never stop growing, is what I hear. Forehead is grown. Hake's forehead versus Chuck's. He has me beat barely. Just give me 70 years or 30 more years. Hopefully I make it. Yeah, sleazy person. How can you support abortion and be a grown man? How can you not support Trump, especially from the left, so-called left? How can you work with nervous Nancy Pelosi on her side? The side of evil against the whites and Christians? She calls herself Catholic. Said Joe Biden should run again. Okay, now I know you're lying. I'm wise to you, Chuck Schumer. Joe Biden should run again. An excellent first 2 years in office. Okay. All right. That's just politics. We let him, give him a pass on that one. A new CNN poll found Americans have little appetite for a Biden-Trump rematch. 6 in 10 Republicans and Republican-leading independents say they want their party to nominate someone other than Trump in 2024, per this commie nonsense poll, 62%. While a similar 59% of demon rats and Democrat-leaning independents, so-called independents, say they'd like to see someone other than Biden at the top of the ticket in the next presidential election. Interesting, huh? You think Trump will get the nomination? I want to say he would. Interesting times, whatever. Who cares? 2024. We gotta make it to 2023. We don't have to even make it to 2023. We don't know. He is a tribe member. Oh yeah, he is Jewish, huh? Well, I knew he's not Christian. I don't even think. Where's his yarmulke? Not a very serious Jew. He's a lawyer/liar, if I'm not mistaken, this Chuck Schumer guy. Americans are wise. Oh, man. When you're acting like you're wise to one of the most honest men in America, at least on the great stage, on the big stage, then you know we're not looking at things correctly. Okay, let me just double check. Are we over there? How are we doing on Rumble? Oh, I am streaming on Rumble Live. Let me just double check this thing. A lot of people are talking about the Central Park 5. I'm looking at the live chat over here. A lot of people are talking about the Central Park 5 and saying they admitted to almost killing that woman or raping her. Some guy said, it was my first rape. But then the lying people are like, oh, it was a forced confession. Zero evidence. Just want to smear the cops. They were guilty. They admitted it. Knocked her eyeball out of her head and left her to die. Is that true, Commander Kim? She wasn't their first victim either. One of them said it was my first rape. Kim Kardashian has some nonprofit group that overturns convictions on criminals. She claims they were convicted based on race. Yeah, it's shenanigans. It's politics. It is dishonesty. Derek Chauvin, murder? I don't think so. And I think that my opinion is more valid than the Kangaroo court that had Keith Ellison. Keith, not going to swear in on the Bible, going to swear in on the Quran. Antifa-loving, BLM-loving, son supports Antifa too. Scumbag Ellison. In the courtroom, as like the head of the so-called, what was he? Keith Ellison was the attorney general of the state of Minnesota, is that? Or Missouri? I don't know. I can't keep my state straight. I don't know geography. Is it frozen or something like that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we can switch the camera to you, no problem.
No worries.
We won't be able to do anything else.
I like Chuck Schumer being there. If you're watching the video feed, Chuck Schumer's there. Oh. We could do this. Oh, okay. Either way. Either way, I like Chuck Schumer being there. It's fun. What's Chuck Schumer doing there? Hake needs backup spittoons. Wirecast is frozen. We don't want to quit to lose the stream. No, I don't mind. 20 more minutes. Hake's not talking about anything. Don't worry about it. Thank you. Oh, you switched it to that?
Do you want Chuck?
I don't mind.
I'm going to get that call then. Come back.
I don't know if that messes with the audio. Does that mess with the audio or no? Anyway. Yeah, I think I'm a little bit more fair-minded, maybe not by much, than these people. You know what I mean? So, anyway, let me just double-check some things here. Keith Ellison is from Minnesota. Thank you, Big Bump. You know what else is kissing up to the blacks? We have this whole culture of kissing up to the blacks nowadays. Before I get back to calls, hang tight, guys. Harvard University, I saw this. Harvard University is congratulating their first black female person of color, POC, and woman to the role of Harvard University's president, Claudine Gay. Claudine Gay. Claudine. My audio is fine when we switch either cam. Okay, cool, thank you. Appreciate that, Nico. She is currently, the school is Dean of Faculty of Arts and Sciences, and she'll become the first person of color and the second woman to hold the role of Harvard University's quote-unquote president. Was that once a Christian school? I thought that it was, but I'm not sure. I guess we could switch back to the big screen of Hake. Yeah, we could switch it back. Thanks, man. Let me get to just in Fullerton, California, on the line. Justin, how are you doing, man?
Good morning, James. Doing exceptionally well. I was just really saddened about what I heard, and I want to know if this may be true. Simply put, a baby had died from getting an infusion with blood that was vaccinated, and it died within days from apparently a blood clot that was reported. His name is baby Alex from New Zealand.
Wow.
Isn't that awful?
So a New Zealand baby died from a vaccination. What type of vaccination was it? It was a blood. Was it a blood transfusion?
Infusion.
It was a blood transfusion from somebody who was vaccinated.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Yes.
And it was the vaccination of the person's. It was the vaccinated blood that killed the baby. It was the vaccinated aspect of the blood that killed the baby.
Yeah, that it was. That the blood was tainted with vaccinated blood, and this pure baby couldn't handle, I guess. I don't know the details, but I was wondering if that has ever been something you came across as normal to hear about.
You know,
these days.
If a baby requires a blood transfusion, the baby is not in good shape already, and a lot of people are donating blood, and a lot of people don't have good blood, period, for an assortment of reasons. And who knows, you may be correct. This vaccination thing may be another thing that's polluting the people's blood. They want to get rid of the HIV. They want to get rid of the anti-HIV discrimination from blood donors, too. They want people with HIV to be able to donate blood. I think, right? Don't they? Something like that. It discriminates against the gays, is what they were saying. I thought I heard. I'm laughing, but it's a terrible mess. So I don't know if your story is as you said. I'm not saying that it's not. I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if stuff like that happens. It's another reason that we need to really just take care of ourselves so we don't require medical treatment, because the medical industry, in many ways, just like all industries now, just like all people now, are more and more corrupt and inept. JLP is so right. He made a point, I think it was I don't know when it was. Oh, it was in church, an archived Sunday service, that people give their lives over and just give their mind over to doctors and lawyers and just listen unquestioningly to what they say, and just follow their advice rather than pausing and following what seems really right. They just treat these people like they're little gods of their aspect of the world, and I think that's very common among people do that with Jesse Lee himself, or the Bible, their false understanding of the Bible, or preachers and experts and all peer-reviewed studies and all that stuff, and they don't know what they're even. People are so blind and self-deceived, and they haven't.
The doctor, I'm one for getting second or third or fourth opinions and doing my due diligence because it's my only life I got,
Fair enough. People have an excuse for all the wrong things that they believe and do, too.
Yeah, because they listen to their father, the evil one, that tells them that idolatry is the way to go. And they need to resist like Jesus Christ in the 40 days in the desert and how he combated the devil and use scripture, the words of God, against him. Because the devil is real, and, with 70% of the blood that's been vaccinated versus those who haven't, there's going to have to be tests, about the repercussions of things. You can't just, run wild thinking that it's going to happen. You want to think blood is safe. And like you said, there are people that abstain from receiving blood from certain types of people based on their health or their lifestyle, So I just thought I'd bring that up because I don't require any transfusions or infusions or whatever the term is, but I do know that if
Hello.
Statistics.
You cut out there, buddy. I couldn't hear you. You cut out there.
Hello? Oh.
Where are you that you're getting out of signal? Justin in Fullerton. We lost him. I'll put him on hold, and maybe Nick can straighten it out. Nico, host of Nick's Stream. Oh, disconnected. Well, thank you, man. Oh, he hung up. I appreciate it. A point taken. We understood your point overall. I don't think that people realize that they're idolizing, though. You're just living your life, and you're, like, desperate, and when I think back to when I was all too trusting of this or that person or this or that expert or doctor or whatever, I didn't realize I was idolizing. Or didn't think of it as idolizing. I just thought of it as being like, as sometimes like it's an eagerness to people please, or sometimes it's you don't know what's going on, or the person has that type of personality that you just hop. They'd say jump, you say how high? Oh no, you just jump. Rather than, I remember there was this wise man who said something to the effect of, when he was in the military, they would say, hut, and you're supposed to go, but he would pause rather than jump at the impulse, at the, what's that word? Impulse is a fair enough word for it, but it's not the word that I was looking for. Compulsion or whatever, maybe? Some type of pulse. They say, hut, and you go, ah, rather than going, I don't know. Interesting. And then that sense of independence, even with following the orders, but pausing before you follow the orders so that you're self-led, gets on people who are power trippers. It gets on the power trip people's nerves. Mama spirit in some of the power tripping people. Some of the doctors, no doubt. Some of the lawyers, no doubt. Self-important judges, female judges in some cases. Oh my gosh. And who have no authority. Get clowned by that guy who ran down those Christmas parade white people, little girls and old ladies and men and boys maybe. Remember that guy who acted out in court over the past year to the female judge lawyer too, right? Aren't judges lawyers? And she had no control over him. It was just clowning her. Making a fool of himself too, but what a joke of a society. Daryl Brooks, says Hassan. Yeah, I think that's his name. Shaking my head. Such a lack of authority in the world. Let me get to this story before we wrap up here. The Catholic Church, Catholic shenanigans, and other fake leaders. People like appeal to, the history of the fathers of the church. The Catholic Church, according to the far-left females at the Skim, and they hate the Catholics because they're Christian, or some form of Christian, right? Whether it's a real thing or not. Yesterday, reports revealed that the Vatican defrocked an American priest, Frank Pavone. Pavone, wasn't he one of the good ones? Who has served as a religious advisor to our greatest president, Donald J. Trump. He is was he not the one who was defrocked? He is an anti-abortion activist, meaning pro-life. Oh, okay. Oh, I thought the Catholics liked that. During the 2016 presidential election, he posted a video online of an aborted fetus, also known as a killed unborn baby, on an altar as part of his appeal to protect unborn children. Now, the Vatican has found that Frank Pavone, guilty of blasphemous communications, oh, Lord, on social media and of persistent disobedience. Disobedience to who? And I don't know if I would put a dead baby on an altar, but it makes a poignant point. I don't know. I'd have to see it myself. There's no possibility of appeal, but Frank Pavone reportedly said he will appeal to the next pope and to the people of God, which the so-called Catholic Church, except for guys like Real Vincent James, who's a Catholic, but I think he's a Christian. At least he wants to be like for what's right, you know? Nick Fuentes, some of those Groyper guys seem like they want what's right, you know? They're not these dumb liberal fake Catholics. There's some, I suppose, dumb conservative fake Catholics too. Self-righteous people, angry people. In every field of the Christianity, you know, because the Catholics are part of Christians. Did you know that? And the normal Christians, the so-called Protestants, most of us corrupt too. Practically all. And the Orthodox corrupted by the KGB, the communists. What a mess. Defrocked. What's defrocked anyway? They mean that he can't be a priest anymore? Whatever. His calling is, if it is a true calling from God, it's from God. It's not from men. So they can't take away his true leadership. They just take away the title. And he doesn't need that title. So good riddance to bad rubbish. I can now say the Catholic Church is 100% corrupt because Frank Pavone was like the only guy. No, there's another couple of people who were solid. There's that guy, Maria Vigano. Maria is like his, it's a guy, but Maria Vigano. Carlo Maria Vigano. Something like that. Carlo Maria Vigano. 81 years old. Archbishop of the Catholic Church. He seems like a solid guy too. And there's somebody else. What are those based Catholic leader types? Some other priest or whatever who seemed solid. But anyway, back to this kiss-up Catholic. There was a caller who was acting like, Pope Francis is just like Jesus. He speaks vague just like Jesus. Jesus did not speak vaguely. He did speak in parables. And yes, people twist his words. People can twist anything. Satan is clever. But Pope Francis, I don't know, because he doesn't speak English, or I've never heard him speak English, but the translations of stuff he's said seem to be kissing up. And he also pushes for illegal invaders, or immigrants, right? Immigrants? Pope Francis orders the Vatican to return Parthenon sculptures to Greece, doing the important work. Oh, yeah, so important. Worldly statues, carvings, graven images. CNN reported today, some 2,500-year-old sculptures have been held in the Vatican. That's the city inside of Italy, Italy, right? Something, Rome? For more than a century. Now the Pope is giving them to the Greek Orthodox Church. And the Orthodox people don't like the Catholics, according to one of my callers. Some guy who called in saying that the Russia versus Ukraine is Catholics versus Orthodox, even though they're both Orthodox. But the West, the Catholic West, we're not Catholic, but the West is supporting Ukraine against Russia. And the guy in charge of Ukraine is very unchristian. He's neither Orthodox nor Catholic. Satan. I guess they're all on the sides of Satan. Satan fighting Satan. Anyway, guys. Oh, yeah, so important to return those sculptures. Terrible. Meanwhile, you're getting rid of one of your best men, Frank Pavone. Maybe he's just a political guy, but I have a positive impression of Frank Pavone. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. This has been the Hake Report, guys. Let's listen to the last track, last Christmas track. I Wonder As I Wander. Phil Hahn and Steve Johnson. Thanks for joining me, guys. I will see you tomorrow with Joel Friday and Crishaun the Dawn. Adios.
People like you and like I wonder as I wander out under the sky. I wonder when Mary birthed Jesus, 'twas in a cow stall with wise men and farmers and shepherds and all. But high from God's heaven a starlight did fall, and the promise of ages it then did recall. I wonder